Today is the 13th day of September, the day that my mother passed on to glory to meet with the Jesus that she's been serving for over 40 years. And my mother said, after she died, you smile at all the good things. I've been smiling a lot today. Thank God Darren Henfield and this FNM government didn't have an opportunity to lock her in a trailer for 9 months. I keep gotta reminding people, because you see, Curlin said they're gonna bring Darren to Abaco for 3 weeks and they're gonna flood the market with our goods. You see, the minister of Hiram Lewis, that boy, they say I don't call people names, but it exalts me. That's where I speak. I ain't gonna change that. I'm not gonna change because I am on BMP. I gotta change every day. Everybody want me to change this, change that. I am Kai. I am building a model. This is a model that I've built for 58 years. It's not gonna change overnight. But when Hiram Lewis could say that they have our goods in the Nema Basin, Nassau, I have a problem with that. Is that the same stuff that Curlin said they're gonna bring 4 40-foot containers and do things for people 1 year later? Anything is better than them dooms, man. Y'all dropped the ball on that one. But it's amazing that some people want to be significant after Hurricane Dorian. Like, where were they? What have they been speaking on? I'm talking about the little meeting they had up the road there by our rock agency. Nonsensical meeting. Meeting was absolutely a idiot idea. Idiot. Total. That's why I only had 5 people showed up. All of these people, including George Cornish, voted FNM. Have they invited the ministers? George campaigned for Darren Henfield over Renato Curry, although now he wants to get the PLP nomination. That don't make no sense. This same person had a meeting in the Friendship Tabernacle trying to promote Dennerly Penn Mackey. I wonder what happened with that relationship. That relationship went north. I don't need nobody to promote me. I have promoted myself. I've lived the life. I don't need nobody to talk no fool around. You ought to invite the man you vote for. You just voted for Darren the other day. You just voted for James the other day. Why haven't James been invited to the meeting? I saw him today in the back of the Defense Force car. He looked like a criminal. Look like you're under arrest. I wanted to interview him, but couldn't interview him, but he gone. But the thing is, on the meeting what they had up there, I want the person that has that fake American accent, and every time she talk, keep leaking them out. Keep leaking them out like she on coke. I want her to talk about, and also George Cornish, I want her to talk about the model that Bakers Bay is going to put in her yard. Have she told you that Bakers Bay has offered to put one of the first model of these 46 or 48 homes in her yard once she shut them out and speak no ill of Bakers Bay? Have George Cornish, that want to replace Darren Henfield as Member of Parliament for North Abaco, recognize that Bakers Bay could employ 100 Bahamians if they send them little short Mexicans home? But they ain't gonna talk about Bakers Bay, because George riding around in a free Bakers Bay car. I don't even know why he has the car if he's not employed by them. If you're not getting a salary, why are you driving my car? But they got them tagged and say Dr. Marshall already promised George that he is so big in the PLP that he will get George Cornish the nomination. You may get George the nomination, but the nomination do not vote. People vote. You ask him what he did with his 3-term chief constable like he liked to brag about. You know what he did with it? Right up there. $40,000. That's him and Foreign Baby right up there. That's what they did. That's how much they care. But I just want to remind them that before, and I said this at the airport, that when these Mexicans that came in untested hit Abaco, there goes those days when we had zero. We had no, absolutely none, no COVID-19 cases in Abaco. Where was the first place that COVID-19 was discovered? Baker's Bay. They never said Baker's Bay. You imagine the government can't even be true? You imagine that the government will close a whole bank down. Commonwealth Bank, the only bank really in Abaco that was serving the people months before Royal Bank bring the little trail in here. And they shut that down. And we know that COVID-19, the government knows that COVID-19 was and is in Baker's Bay. And they let their citizen go on the ferry that the Prime Minister and Brent Simonet sit down at the table and edge out a $25 million deal for them. That's the first investment they did. But they took investment from Alby's Ferry. That was a bad taste in my mouth. That government ministers awarding themselves contract. That ain't good for government. And they know that there's COVID-19 in Baker's Bay. But yet, they didn't close Baker's Bay nor allowed their citizen to stop going until they shut that place down for only 14 days. But you see, that's the Prime Minister and Brent Simonet cash cow. Greed, lack of integrity is what makes it still going. But why haven't George Cornish and the other girl there that burnt herself all up trying to collect insurance? I don't want them to be calling my name, you know, because I could say some things. She should have been locked up for arson. Look at her when she wearing short pants, all burnt up. Gas, trying to collect insurance. That is a crime. Speak to those things. Don't worry about Kai. I even need to call your name, but I'll call your name. But why is Baker's Bay gonna give you a free house? You're so high and mighty. Why is Baker's Bay gonna give you a house? Did you have a house got destroyed in Hurricane Dorian? That house, you should refuse that since you got so much to say and allow somebody that lost a home, that can get a home from Baker's Bay. Baker's Bay can't sell me up. They already tried that. The F&M government already tried it on the 1st of September. I shan't be silent. But if y'all want to speak about something while you're up there running your mouth over foolishness, y'all voted F&M. Y'all want to be MP. So speak about the issues and ask yourself, George, and your little host that all of a sudden got so much to say, why are y'all not speaking about the COVID-19 in Baker's Bay that caused Abaco to be the 3rd largest amount of COVID-19 in the Bahamas to date. Why don't you all speak about the Mexicans that if they weren't here, that would be 100 persons in Abaco employed. Ask yourself while you're having your little meeting and excluding Baker's Bay name out of it, what are these Mexicans doing that Bahamians can do? Well, we know Dr. Marshall believed that these Mexicans is the best thing that ever happened to the Bahamas, because we ain't got no kind of skill nor work ethics, according to Dr. Livingston Marshall with the bind up lip. He ought to go back to Mexicans. Some Mexico. You know, something really hurt me the other day when the FES had all of his employees $250 a pop to take the COVID-19 test. When FES already presented the result to Baker's Bay, but when they went to the boat, they were all singled out to go home because one of them had COVID-19. But what about the Mexican also that got flew to Doctor's Hospital? Or Mexicans, we don't even know the numbers anymore. Why when the other 100 Mexicans were asked to come off of Baker's Bay, like how they did the black Negroes of FES Construction? That is racial profiling in the Bahamas. How could the Mexicans have more say than Bahamians of Abaco? Why were FES boys sent home like dogs? Y'all go, y'all go. After they spent all that money to get their test. But the Mexicans are still on Baker's Bay. Neither one of them was sent back to Mexico. Free house accommodation, free food every day. And they're from Mexico. And my brothers from FES were asked not to come on the key until Dr. Livingston Marshall gave the okay. That is unacceptable. This is what I want George Cornish, Roscoe, was trying to get a nomination. I know Roscoe into, because my mother said this. This is the day that she died. She said, Kai, listen to Althea. Whenever you lay down with pot cake dogs, when you get up, you're gonna have fleas. So plenty of y'all got fleas from that meeting the other day because it didn't make no sense. Somebody trying to get and gain political mileage. But speak to the issue of Baker's Bay. If Baker's Bay has silenced you now, Jesus, what do you think gonna happen if we are fool enough to elect you, George Cornish, as MP? Can't happen, won't happen. So speak to the issues. And Baker's Bay is the reason why so much COVID-19 is on the island of Abaco and is escalating like wildfire just because of the Mexicans. You're live with Kai on WCAY, talking about the facts of Baker's Bay and them bringing COVID-19 into Abaco. Kai Case, that's why he's here.